Hi, I'm Lynn Barwald. Welcome to the Explosion Book Class. I think you're really going to enjoy this class. Over the years, this is probably the #1 favorite class that I've ever taught. People love it. They love making the project. They love the end result. And if you give it as a gift, it's always a great gift. You end up with a book that looks very clean and crisp looking like this. And when you open it up, voila, it explodes into a wonderful scrapbook. It is full of pictures, memorabilia. I've used inks, I've used rubber stamps, I've used all kinds of different kind of techniques that I will talk to you about. What happens is, once you learn how to make this, you can make it in lots of different sizes for a lot of different purposes. This is just a book on its own, just to show you a few different ideas. This is one that it says, Girls on the Run, and it's actually made into a little pocketbook type thing. This one is a much smaller book. It's actually a 3x3 instead of a 5x5. And when you open it up, it's a little brag book that you might want to put in your pocketbook or give to somebody else for, grandkids gifts, pictures, or things like that. In addition, this is a teeny weeny little one that is so cute. You can actually add this into a scrapbook page or into a card, something that will pop out in the middle with a special message. So there are a lot of different things that you can do with that. Let's get started. You have a kit that looks similar to this. It is full of all kinds of things, and we're going to talk about those, but it includes a full set of instructions. These instructions will tell you exactly what I'm actually telling you right now, but you can use it for future purposes. It also includes pictures of the completed project. It also includes information about my website. You can go to my website at any time to see pictures of this project and other projects. It also has my email. If you ever have any questions, you can feel free to email me. So, just in opening the kit to show you the stuff that's in it. It's just a bunch of embellishments, papers, different kind of things that you might not typically have thought about using, including cork and keys and bottle caps and all kinds of different things. It also has a little coin envelope. I'm going to show you something special to do with that in a little bit. So I'm going to go ahead and put these aside right now. In the kit, you have 3 pieces of paper. This is actually basil paper, which is a great textured paper. It's actually textured on one side and flat on the other. Very nice, thick cardstock. I have scored all of these papers for you. They are scored in 3 places. One across here, one up and down, and one is diagonal. I don't know if you can actually see the scores on there, but they're there to help you to fold the paper. It's really important in this project to have the paper folded as crisply and cleanly as possible. Excuse that interruption. I'm back. I would like you to take the 3 pieces of paper that are in the kit, and I want you to look at them and see that they are scored in 3 ways. One is here, one is there, and one is diagonal. I'm not so sure if you see that on this paper. Take your piece of paper, and I want you to actually fold it on those score lines. But I want you to do it a little bit different. If your score line is right there and the indentation is on that side of the paper, we would typically want to fold it towards that score line. That's just something that's a natural thing. But because that score line has already damaged the fibers in the paper, it's already torn the fibers in the paper, if we were to fold that paper into the score line, it just makes it a little bit easier for that paper to tear. I recommend you do the opposite, and that is turn the paper upside down, fold the paper away from the score line gently. Now, I really want you to make all of these folds pliable so that it will be easy for the book to open and close. The ease of movement is because these folds have been made over and over and over. So I want you to take that time to do that right now. In addition, you'll notice that my work is very distressed. I have a lot of ink on my papers. It's a very distressed look, a very artsy type look. If you choose to do that, now is the time to do that. So what you would do is you would take a sponge that I've actually included in the kit, as well as some ink pad, whatever it is that you might choose. You stick your sponge in your ink pad and you actually start inking the paper like that. and you give it a little bit of a defined look. Okay, so I took the time to do that. I now have my 3 pieces of 10 by 10 cardstock that are very well folded. By the way to get a nice, crisp, clean fold is to fold your paper and use a bone folder. When you're using a bone folder, you might want to go towards the edge, but that's not a good idea. If you do that, it's going to make a line in the paper. However, if you take the flat edge and you just kind of go back and forth like a windshield wiper, open it up, go another direction, go back and forth, that is what's going to make it nice and pliable. So, now that we have that done, we're going to take those papers and put them aside. Also in your kit, you have 4 pieces of patterned paper. This patterned paper is 5.5 inches by 5.5 inches. I have taken the opportunity to ink it and to distress my paper just because I like to do that. So if you would like to, you should do that now. As you'll see, the ink is actually on the back of the paper as well as the front. It doesn't matter, the back is going to be covered, you're never going to see it. Okay, you have those papers. You also have 2 pieces of chipboard. Chipboard is actually a thick cardstock or a thick cardboard. This is actually about 1/8 of an inch thick. It's more like a bookboard, if you will. You want this piece to be solid and sturdy. You don't want it to bend very easily. So what you're going to do is take each one of these papers, and I want you to actually adhere it to the one side of the paper. I want you to take another, adhere it to the back, and do that on both pieces. So in the end, you're going to have front and back covered. You can use any adhesive that you would like. I personally, because I use an extensive amount of adhesive, I use this tape gun. It's called an ATG tape gun. It might be very scary for you if you've never seen anything like this before. You can use any kind of adhesive you like. I just happen to really like this. But one thing that I actually do recommend for this project is to actually use glue. This is a bookbinding glue, but you can pretty much use any white glue that you would like. What you're going to do is you're going to take your piece of paper, your chipboard, and you're actually going to put just a little bit of glue down, like so. Less is more. When it comes to glue, you're always welcome to go ahead and put extra on there, but at least this way your paper isn't going to warp or anything like that. I want you to spread your glue out, going from the inside to the outside, like so, and just give it a thin, even coating on the entire piece of chipboard. And then take your paper and carefully make sure that you are covering your chipboard piece. It should cover very nicely and cleanly, and I now have one whole piece done. So go ahead and do that with both pieces of chipboard that you have and your 4 pieces of patterned paper. Okay, great. So now we have our 3 pieces of basil that we're going to take back out again. And I want you to put them on your work surface in the following fashion. You want all 3 pieces of paper with the diagonal line going up and down. What you're going to do is overlap one of the quadrants on the paper. So your second sheet of paper is going to overlap your first, like that. And your third piece of paper is going to overlap like that. You could, if you wanted, to put it together like that. You know, or the opposite with these 2 pieces on the top and this one on the bottom. That doesn't matter at all how you put them together, just be consistent. So, first, second, and third sheet of paper. So what I want you to do is take your adhesive, whatever adhesive you choose to use. If you use the glue, then I want you to make sure you only put a thin coat down because you really don't want this paper to warp. But what I want you to do is put adhesive just on this one quadrant. Okay, so you're going to have your paper, your adhesive down that way. And you're going to overlap this carefully so that it really just looks like, one piece. Okay, and then you want to do the same thing on this quadrant. What I'm doing is putting tape around 4 sides and 1 down the middle. Put this down carefully. You now have 3 sheets that are connected. At this point, what you want to do is actually fold it together. So on the far left piece, you're going to fold it at these 2 lines, push the middle in together. It's a little bit tricky. You want these 2 pieces to actually kiss. Okay, so they are the 2 lines. This is pushed in the middle. This is actually going to come together like that. The same thing is going to happen at this end. You make your fold that way. Kind of get it so that the middle pushes in together. These 2 pieces are going to kiss. Fold, I made that up, the kiss part. Okay. The middle part is the opposite. Turn it over and do the same thing. Bring your 2 mountain folds together, and you now have a piece that is actually 5 inches by 5 inches. The reason that these are 5.5 inches and this is 5 inches is because that's your cover and your back, and you want it to have a little bit of overlap. Okay, so that's why that's a little bit bigger. Okay, so basically this is 5 by 5. Your papers were 10 by 10. Okay, if you wanted your book to be like this book, which is 3 by 3, actually the cover is going to be a little bit bigger so that you have the overlap, but the paper inside is 3 by 3, you would start out by cutting 3 6 by 6 pieces of paper. Okay? What it is double.